If you know me, I rarely stick to the script because there is no script. This is an ACEMAGIC NAS product. They sent this over for me to review, and I decided to do something cool with it. So this here is a NAS. It's a low-cost NAS, so it's meant to be very intro-friendly for users, especially in this really crappy market. It comes bare bones, which is fine. We'll go over the specs in a sec, but it does have actually a pretty decent CPU. It has an AMD embedded CPU, which is nice. And then as a result, it takes DDR4, which is nice. DDR4 is mercifully a lot cheaper than 5. It can take up to 4 hard drives and 2 NVMEs inside of it. I've already got it set up. We'll cut to the part where I set it up in a moment. It's got lots of ports on the side. I'm just messing with it right now. It's got lots of ports on the side right here. We actually I'll just come in. I'm using this for Wi-Fi right now. Of course, it has 2 Ethernet ports. I'm just not within range of my Ethernet right now. 2 Ethernet ports. It has display over USB-C, which I'm using. Display over, obviously, HDMI and display port. It has 2 fast USB ports and 2 slower USB ports for like dongles, headphone, microphone, combo jack, and power. It's a little weird that it's on the side there, but it's actually going to serve me well for the way that I'm going to set this up. You'll see. You'll see. Big fan on the back there. And that's kind of cool, slides that, which is good because this thing is, I don't like blue because blue is really bright. As weird as that sounds, in a dark room, it actually hurts your eyes. So that's like such a weird but like good quality of life thing, just to turn off that light. But what I'm going to do with this is I installed Windows. Isn't that a sin? Right? Nobody likes Windows these days because Windows has problems, but I am thinking of this as a different type of product. Yeah, you can install true NAS and set it up as a standard NAS, and there's no problems there whatsoever. When it does come out of the box, some of the ports are a little slower, so I did go into the BIOS and speed them up just with one click. I'll show you that in a moment. But you can see here it's loaded up. So in here right now, I'm just messing with it right for now, but I have the NVMe that has the operating system on it, the first one. I have a second one I just threw in there just for test purposes, so 2 of them. And I have a ton of storage. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hard drives in there. So why would you possibly set it up with Windows when you could set it up with like true NAS or whatever NAS software you want? Just have a NAS, like a dedicated NAS software. Well, this can be a more interesting product in some ways. And the reason I thought of this, and when they asked me if I want to review this, is because ACEMAGIC is a mini PC brand. I actually just finished the review of this here, the ACEMAGIC Mini. This is going to become my daily driver in a bit. My whole setup has changed. If you watched my previous videos, you notice even my monitor changed. Everything's changing right now. This here was a really nice, powerful mini PC with Oculink. You can see there. Hook it up to a D GPU, dedicated graphics, all that kind of crap. That's fine. But the problem with that is it has minimal storage. Like, it does have NVMEs in it, and a couple of them, which is kind of sweet. But it obviously doesn't have room for hard drives. So what could you do with something like this? Well, you could hook this up as a network attached storage, but also a dedicated little PC. This is something that I've thought about many times. Imagine if you took a mini PC, right? Rather than having, a little bit bigger than obviously a standard mini PC, but you put a bunch of hard drives in it. So here I have a small form factor PC. It's more of a small form factor than a mini at this point, but that's fine. It's a true SFF. It would totally be in the SFF category. But I have 4 hard drives in there. Reasonable specs. I put in 16 gigabytes, but you can put 32, whatever you want. A very reasonable CPU in here. Lots of ports on it. Good cooling and everything like that. And I can use it as a mini PC, like as a standard mini PC. Go around, browse the internet, do my essays on it, do my work on it, come in here, and now all of a sudden I have a small form factor PC that's not focused maybe so much on raw performance, circa the one over there, which is now tucked in behind again. That's a performance-focused mini PC, obviously. It's very powerful. This is a storage-focused mini PC or small form factor PC, and that's totally fine. I have all the things that I need in terms of connectivity. I have access to 4 hard drives. I'm only putting in 16 terabytes. That's just what I have right now, but you could put in more. It supports significantly more. I also have 2 NVMEs in here, so 1 for operating system, 1 for a scratch drive up here, and the other is just going to be used for a data warehouse. So the way that I envision this here is, this is for people who need day-to-day computing. So you need to have access to day-to-day computing. I just need something like that, like day-to-day basic computing, editing, files, watching shows, watching movies, YouTube, writing essays, doing all that kind of stuff. But I also want to have access to crazy amounts of storage. I can still use it as a network storage device, right? So come in here, right? This is in the inverse. This is actually my laptop. But you can see here, now I'm going into my laptop here. Desktop. Is there anything on my desktop? No. nothing on the desktop. But I come in here, right? And I'm going in there. That's this computer over here. All right, you can see that here. I'm just doing it in the inverse, but whatever, flip it around. So, you know, you can come in here and you can do the inverse. So I could come into my laptop here, right? Come over here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Network there. I'm reaching a little bit here, going to network, right? And then that one is that one. This is this PC here. I have some other crap here, my TV. But then that there is this PC. So the cool thing is what I could do here is I can move files on my laptop, off my laptop, doing video editing, right? This is not where I video edit on the Surface Book. I have an actual editing laptop with more power. But when I'm done with editing a video, I'm definitely not wanting to leave all that data and stuff on my laptop, especially in this market where NVMe storage is very expensive. Very expensive. Yeah, hard drive prices are gone up, but it's not even comparable to the price of NVMe's. So when I'm done editing a video, I want to put them onto this here. I don't necessarily, I mean, I'm fine with NAS products, like their standard true NAS and all that kind of stuff, but there's something to be said about me being able to then come, sit down at a computer, standard computer, that I'm comfortable with, especially if you're a new user. If you're a new user, there's no overhead here. Like you don't have to be like, well, how do I use this NAS type product, right? You just, well, you put your hard drive in, you put your stuff in, and then you install Windows, and you come and you just use it as a standard device. So we'll get this set up, put some drives in it, put some storage, put some RAM, all that kind of stuff. Get it set up, get it tested, and then I'll usually vanish for a little while and go use it for some time. Then I'll come back and give you a more informed opinion. But the setup I like to kind of show while we're doing it all together. So we can see there. So we can see there we have our 2 RAM slots. We also have 2 NVMe slots in here. That's a reset, CMOS reset there. 2 RAM slots, 2 storage slots, RAM. So you can put on your operating system, that kind of stuff. Of course, you can dual that up as well. You could also have one working as, you know, like a cache or something like that, depending on how you want to set this thing up. Now these do come bare bones, which I guess in this market, like, it can be good or bad. Like, do you want to have RAM to come with it? You might potentially pay a lot more. People do have RAM. Like, it may sound crazy, but people do have RAM already. And you know, and the type of RAM as well, right? So this is not using DDR5. DDR5 is, DDR5 is very expensive. We'll put it that way. And actually, laptop DDR5 is actually more expensive than desktop DDR5. Right now, at least it is. North America, it's very expensive. This AMD chip here uses a DDR4. Thank God. Honestly, thank God. So this is DDR4 memory. I just have DDR4. A lot of people may just have DDR4 laying around, but even if you don't, it is way cheaper than DDR5. I'm talking, it's less than half. We'll put it that way. So 16 gigabytes of DDR5, so 8 and 8 would be probably at least maybe $150 to $200 American. This here would be $80, something like that. Used, I'm talking used here. New RAM is like DDR5 would be like $500. It's so expensive. So that's that there. I'm just going to slap in, you know, just like, I don't need tons of super high end storage or anything like that. I'll just slap in like a 512 or something in there. I have one. Here we go. I was looking for this. A little 512, a little Gen 3 drive. Nothing crazy. Again, market's not great. I actually picked this up used on eBay off a reputable seller. It was way cheaper than market. You know, people may not be comfortable with, you know, some people may not be comfortable with buying everything used, but there are a lot of good sellers on eBay. Like, I'm not talking, you know, like some dude with, you know, 20 reviews. I'm talking people with like hundreds of thousands of sales and hundreds of thousands of reviews and a review rating of like 99.999, right? And that's where I got these from, actually. I just bought this off some random, off some non-random eBay. This is a little 256 thing. We'll just put it in there. And it wouldn't fit because, you know, it doesn't, this is a 2280, but I got this little adapter for like, I don't know. I think they're like $2 on AliExpress or like $4 on Amazon. So not exactly expensive. And then you can take drives that you just have like laying around. I actually had this 2230 in my drawer probably for a year. Like all that. Anyway, so we pop that in here and we're going to put our hard drives in. So I'm going to put in some pretty, to be honest, some pretty beefy hard drives here. I have these Toshiba drives here. These are enterprise drives, 16 terabytes. They're all 16 terabytes. And I have 4 of them. So put that in there. You could put in bigger drives, like you could get this thing much higher than that, but I think this is enough for my needs. And yeah, also we'll put that in there, get them in there, get those screwed in. I'll get those latched in, and so that's good there. I guess you could put in a screw if you wanted, but they actually latch in, so that's secure. Very good. And just feed them in. Get them in like that, nice little click. And there you go. So, okay, so I will get these all set up here, get all 4 of them in, and get ready. And there are some quick tweaks you can do in here. So you can change your UMA, which is your graphics, above 4 gigabytes. You don't have to do that, you can just leave it auto, but sure, do that. I put a lot of RAM in there. You can also turn it down, and where did it go? And you can say no, right? So if you put in like 32 gigabytes or something, you could do that, your choice. PCI, you can turn these up. So auto is apparently not going to be as fast, but you can put it up to performance, it'll run faster. There's actually a lot of power settings in here. The AMD CPU, now I have experience with this. It does typically run just around 15. We can give it some more. I don't think it's going to run that fast, to be honest. And then get your operating system installed. And I suspect that if you are getting a off-the-shelf NAS solution like this that doesn't have an operating system installed, because you can get them from some brands with them installed, and you pay obviously significantly more money, you want to just plug and play. If you're getting a system like this that is way cheaper and you're going to supply some of your own components, I'm assuming you're probably also comfortable with installing your own operating system because you have to. And so at that point, I mean, and a lot of mini PCs are like that too, especially if you get them bare bones. So it's the same type of market. So I mean, you probably would be comfortable to come in here, literally load up the system. It's going to start like that. You go over to advanced here, and there's a few things you can change here, but really you're going to want to come in here. Come in here, you can go to AMD, CPS, come down here. This is where you can get your power if you want. You can tweak that. It's your decision. You can change your UMA. So you don't really need lots of VRAM, but maybe you do. I don't know, maybe you need it for whatever reason. You can turn it up. I turned this to performance, really. And that's all I'm going to do. Okay, so here we are set up. Nice little setup over here. I have them, I keep calling it a mini PC, but it's more of a small form factor PC now. Of course, it is a NAS, but now it's a NAS / small form factor PC. Perfect spot there. The cool thing is the cables go off to the side. I haven't cleaned them up yet, but they go off to the side. I'll bundle them up, tuck them down. So it's actually kind of nice. And as a result, I can push it to the back. If they came out the back, they actually would be going into the wall. So as weird as this, I mean, I don't know if they did that intentionally, probably just where they put the ports. But for me, it actually works pretty well. Anyways, that's over there. The system running, now that we can actually get it tested, it's quite quiet. Maybe like 1 dB above my noise floor. I can hear that the fans are going, but it's very quiet. I mean, it's a big fan. Now, of course, if you have enterprise drives in there, they're going to be noisy, right? Big ripping enterprise drives like I have right now. If you put in, you know, like a consumer grade drive, especially if you're using it how I'm going to be planning on using this, it would be significantly quieter. That's totally fine. No problem. Now, yeah, so we have in here, come over here. I'm just getting it ready to be set up now. So we have over here, right? We have the NVMe with the operating system. The spare one I just put in for test purposes, whatever. And of course you can, yeah, I actually download this. This is some of the drivers available on their website. Just downloaded the drivers for Windows and took 2 seconds to update everything, just so you know. Very easy to get the drivers. How big are these files here? Yeah, 1.68 gigabytes. Okay, we'll list that in a minute. We have the operating system drive. We have the spare one. Now the hard drives, I killed them because I want to come in here. Now you can use a storage pool here. Set up a storage pool. If you have Windows Enterprise, then you can, which you can pay for or get whatever, then you can set up a RAID 5, which would be perfect. Then you'd have, you know, 3 drives working as standard, 1 as a redundancy. You can do that. You can do it otherwise just using a storage pool if you don't want to have Windows Enterprise. I have Windows Pro on here, so it's fine. I'm not going to use that. But I don't want to do that right now. You could. Again, you could do that if you want, but I don't want to do a RAID 5. What I want to do is I'm going to go like this. So the way that I would plan to use this for my personal use is I would have one mirrored setup, just this is for like the critical stuff, right? So disk 0, like so. Quick format, and that's what I'm just going to call this mirror, just so I can remember what is what. You'll be able to see in here what the colors are, but we'll come in here, set it up mirror. It'll take a minute because it's a hard drive, and it'll format them, and it will basically combine these drives. So these two drives, rather than being one drive and two drives, they'll end up being combined into one in terms of mirrored. So they'll be duplicates of one another. So whatever I put onto this drive is automatically going to also appear on this drive. So if one of them has a problem, let's say that drive starts to get bad sectors, problematic, the drive itself, physically the drive platter starts getting messed up, something goes wrong with the hard drive, it's not a big deal because I have a second one as a backup. Okay, so now we can come over here, we can go disk, for some reason that's duplicated, but whatever. So we'll come in here, we'll go new simple volume. Now I could have this simple volume, have them individual. So that would be, I'm not going to go through it, but that would end up setting that up as a singular drive. If I don't need redundancy, I don't have any problems, I could set that up as like, that's my video files that I store my movies and that kind of stuff. These could be my video editing files in here because they're duplicated, so they're safe. In case something goes wrong, I have my video editing files. This is just movies that I download, and that's music or something like that. The other option is you can come in here and you can go striped or spanned, whatever. We're going to go striped. Striped will mean that so that's disk 2, we're going to go disk 3. So we're going to add disk 3 in there. And so what striped is going to do, stripe head, quick format, is when I write to one of the drives, right? So I come in here and I write to, for example, oops, I'm not clicking on it. I write to this drive here, right? It's not going to just write to that drive, it's going to write across. It's going to go wittu, right, like that, right across, right across, right across, right across, right across. And so they're actually combined into one drive. So unlike these ones where they're mirroring one another, and over here in Windows it only shows up as one singular drive, here they're actually going to be combined. So we're going to go from 14.901 and we're going to double that, basically. So we'll have, I guess, 28. So over here, you can see there's only one drive, 14 terabytes. These are clones of one another. Right, they're identical. If I write the data to that one, it'll automatically show up on that one. If something goes wrong with this hard drive, no big deal. There's already data there. These are different, right? They're also combined. You can see over here, but they're combined into making one much larger drive. You can see that 29.1 terabytes. Now, one of the cool things you can do when you have a setup like this here is you can have different purposes, right? So now what I can do here is I can say, let's say here, let's just grab all of them. Okay, so we have all these files here. This is on my C drive, on my Windows drive, right? I can move, I have an SD card here, by the way. That's the SD card. I just plugged it in. I'm not using it right now, but just plugged it in. Put my SD card in there, take video files directly off of my SD card. So I record a video on this camera here, and just plop that SD card in here, dump them directly onto somewhere on the storage here, deal with them later type thing. So this could be a scratch drive, right? So I get my video files off of the SD card. Let's just grab, I don't know, whatever these are. I don't even know what these are. Take these off my SD card and we'll just dump them in the scratch drive. This little NVMe here, this is my scratch drive, right? I'm not really worried about organizing stuff. I don't care about the organization over here, right? I'm just going to call this like copy. It's just about, oh, there's some pictures. That's what they were. It's just about, a scratch drive. Throwing stuff in here real quick. Obviously that's going to be fast. It's going from NVMe to NVMe. Just dumping stuff in here, right? Like I don't need to worry about organizing it, that kind of stuff. And then later, okay, I've got these all organized out. Then I can come back out and I can say, you know what? Let's organize those files, my video files, and put them in here. And this will be like, my important driver files. Okay, so I've sorted that out now, right? So I have this over here as a new file. Or new folder, sorry, on this NVMe, on this hard drive here. And we'll come over here. Important driver files. I'm just going to do this visually like this. And I'm going to grab these important driver files that I just took. Go into this new folder that I called important driver files. I know where I want to sort this now, so this is on my scratch NVMe down here, just that kind of working folder, and just drag that into the hard drive. And it's going to go fast, right? We have just standard hard drive speeds. I don't know what that peaked at, but 350 or 400 megabytes a second, whatever. There you go, right? And then I could come back here and I could say, okay, that's that there. I'm going to have, I also have important program files, and I have, I don't know, video editing warehouse or something like that. And I don't know if there's like any small ones in here. I don't want to copy some giant file. Yeah, come in here, put those in my video editing warehouse, boom. Right, so I brought some stuff off my NVMe, off my SD card here. I brought some stuff off my NVMe over here. We can go into the network, right? Go into my laptop, which is now asleep. Wake it back up again. There we go. Wake my laptop back up. Okay, go into my laptop. And then in the laptop, I'm just going to grab, here, put in my name. Okay, go on my laptop here. Boo, I don't think I really have, I literally just installed Windows on this laptop, so there's not really anything on here. But we'll just grab that, and we're going to grab that off the hard drive, off the laptop. And I've pulled that file literally off of the laptop here, over the network, and into my warehouse. See what I'm doing here? See how this is cool? So yeah, I didn't use this, and I never, like there's, you know, you could set it up as a generic NAS, you know, use TrueNAS or something like that. I didn't want to do that. I thought this would be kind of cool, right? Like you have, this is a mini PC brand, and I set up this like kind of large mini PC or very small form factor type Windows device here that I'm also using as a warehouse. It has access to 4 hard drive bays, dual NVMe, also extra expansion via micro SD cards, and there's USBs on there as well, so I could hook up like extra hard drives and that kind of stuff if need be. And it's basically just a working functional computer. I can come sit down at this Windows PC, do all my data management here. I don't have to go through the NAS type software, the NAS type interface, all that kind of stuff. I can, of course, do it from this computer or from another computer over the network, whatever I feel like doing. But it is nice for me to sometimes be able to come down and physically sit at this computer and just work with it. That's how, I'm a very visual person, and I just like that interface here, the simplicity of it. I can also now dual the purpose up, right? In this market where things are really expensive, there's something to be said about dualing up a product where it's not only now just the NAS, not only just like a data warehouse that has all this data straight up, it's also a functional computer that I can now use as a computer, right? I'm able to now use this as a real computer and that at the same time. Dual purpose, right? Things are expensive. We're trying to get through this AI nonsense bullshit and hopefully make it out the other side. And I can come in here and I can do work, right? I don't have the speakers plugged in, but you know, you can do work here. I can actually use this computer as a computer and also a network thing. Yes, you could build a, you know, large, physically large desktop computer, or I could go out there and I could buy a desktop case, then I have to buy a power supply, buy all that stuff. A lot of computers don't necessarily fit 4 hard drives inside of them. An OEM one certainly does not, unless you're going to buy like a data center type thing. So then you're going to be buying like a gaming system, making sure you have quad ports, and then you're paying a fortune just so that I can have some hard drives hooked up. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to have my computer that's like a very straightforward, simplistic system, gets the job done, but I also want to have access to data, lots of data. And so I can double this thing up, right? I can come in here, I can watch YouTube, and this CPU here is capable, right? So we come over here, right? We'll just open this up while we're doing that. And you know, it's not a beast, right? It's not a beast system here. But we'll come over here, right? It's come over here. It's a quad core processor, logical processor, quad core processor, right? So we got a video here, streaming that. CPU usage, now that it's buffered a little bit, you know, at 32% or so. Let's put this up in the corner. Right, got my YouTube playing over there. I don't know, I'll just come in here, I'll just look up ACEMAGIC PCs, right? Doing work over here. This is a real system here. This isn't some tiny little, like, very basic, you know, Intel Gold or some, you know, ARM processor that's like really only dedicated, like functional for like a NAS. We're using like TrueNAS, like super light software, that kind of thing. Like we're running full bore, like bloated, crappy Windows here, and everything's working just fine, right? Like I'm not slamming the system. I have a video playing. I'm coming here, I'm scrolling around. I want to review this, by the way, ACEMAGIC. You should send me this. This thing is really cool. It's like a mini PC, like a retro kind of thing. I don't know, it looks sick. Yeah, you guys should send me this. I'll review it. Anyways, yeah, I'm using this as a real PC. Like this is the one I just reviewed over here. Actually, it was. Which one was? Oh, it was this one here. Yeah, it was that one right there. Right, like I just reviewed this over here. And, you know, I'm doing like real work here, right? Like I have this thing over here, go quick view. I'm doing real work here, right? Like I'm able to come in here, look for products, do that kind of stuff at the same time. I have a YouTube video playing at the same time. The system is running just fine. I can come in here, you know, I can write up an essay on this thing. It's not going to be as fast as some beast gaming PC, but it's also not going to be like, oh, I'm really trying to make this like ARM-based weird NAS thing all of a sudden into a computer. This is like, no, it's got a real CPU in it, right? Like this has a real CPU. Now I'm not going to test it in this video, but I've actually recently reviewed an ACEMAGIC mini PC. It might have been a Camrui, can't remember. And it had this exact chip. It had this exact chip in it in here, and the embedded here. And I even did some little bit of gaming on it because it has basically Vega graphics. So yeah, you're not playing, you know, Assassin's Creed, what is it, Black Flag Resynced or whatever that just came out, but older games you can absolutely play on. So I think it's a good product, but I think it's good in a way that is maybe potentially a little unconventional, right? I see this as a really cool use for this product. I mean, you can set it up as an NAS and just, you know, throw in TrueNAS, whatever software you want, and just use that. Cool, that's your thing. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the weird guy who's like, the market is crap, everything's really expensive. I want to be able to have a massive data warehouse, which I've always wanted, a data warehouse, like a mini PC that also holds a lot of data. Is sick. Like that in general is super appealing to me. But I also want to have one that has a functional CPU. Yeah, it would be cool if it had a Strix Halo or something like that, but also be $3,000, right? So whatever, this thing's super cheap, it's 300 bucks. And you know, I can come in here and get a real CPU, I can get all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna come down here. This is kind of what I was using before. You can see behind these wires. This is just a generic hard drive enclosure that holds 4 hard drives. And it's not a computer, it's literally a DAS, direct attached storage. It can't be a computer, right? So it's just sat over here and I have to plug it into my laptop, I have to plug into that kind of stuff. It was such a pain in the ass. I did not like that situation over there. It worked fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but I didn't like that. I like being able to have this one on my desk that is not only functioning as a data warehouse, it's also functioning as an actual computer.